Crown Street was situated on the other side of the two outside tunnels, but there is no physical trace of it today. The centre tunnel opened in 1829 to gain access to Liverpool docks. These offices and workshops are hewn from the solid sandstone, remaining much the same after 160 years. On the 15th of September 1830, the first modern railway in the world opened at Crown Street, Liverpool. Passenger trains ceased to use this cutting in 1836 on the completion of Line Street terminus. It remained open for freight traffic and is still in use. Merry-go-round trains from Liverpool docks run round here in readiness for the journey to Fiddler's Ferry Power Station, 16 miles away, on the banks of the River Mersey between Widnes and Warrington. To the right can be seen the original shed once occupied by the famous locomotive Rocket. The Moorish arch, which housed the stationary engines, no longer exists. And as it appears in an early contemporary print. At the start of our journey on 6R72 Fiddler's Ferry to Gladstone Dock, with a full train consisting of 30 empty HAAs headed by two Type 20 locomotives in multiple, we pass over the large Edge Hill junction. The total weight of the train is 551 tons. For 45 HAAs with 4 Type 20 locomotives, the combined weight is 1,192 tons. Up to 1865, Wavertree Lane Crossing traversed the railway on a similar alignment to the bridge in view. Only recently has the crossing keeper's house been demolished. This area has been decimated over the last few years, it once having claim to the biggest gravitational gridiron marshalling yard in possibly the whole of Britain. In a length of 2 miles, it consisted of 57.5 miles of track and cost £2 million to build in the 1880s. Economic policies, containerization, and the demise of the merchant navy fleet spelt the death knell of this once prosperous railway centre, now occupied by Wavertree Technology Park. To the right, the junction laid in 1864 veers south by a Wavertree curve, but more of this later. Olive mound cutting, hewn through solid sandstone, and one of the more notable features on the Liverpool and Manchester Railway is beyond the bridge in the distance. Our train takes the west curve of a triangle onto the Bootle branch, opened in 1866 to Canada Dock, passing first through number 1 and number 2 Pico tunnels, both built in 1882 to accommodate the gridiron, before reaching Edge Lane Junction at the northern tangent. The east curve, seen here on the right, from Olive Mount Junction via Piggy Lane Junction was lifted in 1988. We passed the site of the station at Edge Lane, before reaching the site of the next station, Stanley. Here, along with Liverpool's abattoir, is the fruit market. Many trains of cattle and fruit were dealt with here. Nearby was the large Lister Drive power station. Plain line has replaced the sidings, and today's observer will see little of this once very busy railway centre. This location we have Tuebrook Station, and here the site of Breck Road sidings. During the Second World War, in these sidings, an ammunition train received a direct hit from enemy bombs. Whilst it destroyed many homes in the immediate area, surprisingly, not one person was killed. A number of railwaymen were recipients of bravery awards for their involvement in this major incident, the highest being the George Medal bestowed on an Edge Hill goods guard. An increasing volume of cargo through the port of Liverpool is transported by rail, and more of the docks are being linked to the national rail work as Liverpool attracts a great variety and volume of suitable traffics. As Liverpool takes advantage of some of the deepest water around the UK coast to attract bulk shipments, branch lines to individual berths and facilities for onward movement of cargoes by rail have been introduced. Among this traffic passing between ship and train are fossil fuels destined for Fiddler's Ferry Power Station. As Liverpool is the first port of call on the busy North Atlantic route, the dock authorities expect to attract high-value continental cargoes for rapid transit to European destinations via the rail network and Channel Tunnel. Because of these plans, British Rail must reinstate the East Curve at Olive Mount. This traffic will revitalise the route, which, during the Second World War, was extensively used, but in recent years there has been a noticeable decline. British Rail, in anticipation of this proposed increase in traffic, have commenced a programme to relay both up and down tracks. The up line, as can be seen, is nearing completion. The last passenger train to travel along this line was the Orient Express from London to Aintree for the 1987 Grand National. But 2 windows on the train were smashed by vandals on this stretch of track. Since then, Lime Street Station has dealt with this famous train. Walton and Anfield Station was a little different to others on the line, because at the request of the Cemeteries Authority, they wished it to be built to church specification in reference to those laid to rest in the cemetery nearby. The line drops down a steep gradient of 1 in 63 towards the remains of Spellow Station. During the steam engine era, most of the trains required a bank engine to negotiate the upward journey. The Bootle branch opened in 1866 with a line to Canada Dock. Later in 1879 it was extended to Alexandra Dock. Atlantic Dock Junction being laid at this point. The original line to Canada Dock passed through the tunnel in front of us, but in the late 70s the route was lifted and the junction recovered. At the end of this tunnel we arrive at Bootle Junction, where all trains destined for the docks travel over a single line, either to Seaforth Freightliner Terminal or Gladstone and Hornby Docks.
I'll get in contact with you. We'll get your voice on it. See, what I'm doing now, it's all getting recorded.
On the left, we run contiguous with the ex-Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway for a short distance. This line serviced Exchange Station before its closure. Today, it forms part of Liverpool's underground system. Each train passes over the dock road accompanied by a pilotman. Up to 1956, the Liverpool Overhead Railway, or more affectionately known as the Dockers Umbrella, ran on this alignment.
What's this for? He'll be available though. You know, we'll look after you. Only a common signalman in the car box. Said you. I'm a professional shunter. That's it. You're all professional railway.
No trains are allowed onto the dock estate without authority from the security police. The line directly ahead leads to Seaforth Freightliner Depot, whilst the line we take is to the left.
All the bloody stuff you need with it, that's the trouble. All the things that don't, all the... What goes in it is an ordinary